Welcome to Melissa Honey Speaks, where we chat about feminine magic, mindset, and manifesting. I'm your host and feminine magic guide, Melissa Honey. Welcome back to Melissa Honey Speaks. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about struggle and how struggle is an option. So basically, there's no reward for the person or the woman who struggles the most. You don't get any reward for suffering. So if we could decide that we're not going to struggle, but we're just going to maybe enjoy our life, or maybe we're not going to do all the things that we don't like to do, or that we consider a struggle. So when I say that struggle is an option, is that I mean that we don't have to choose to struggle in life. We can choose a different path by the way that we think, by our actions that we take. We don't always have to choose the struggle route. We can actually choose a luxurious route. We can choose a route that's more peaceful. It's basically depends on us, on what we desire. So the feminine, sometimes we as women, or we as the feminine energetic, we sometimes do the most. So we try to do everything to please everybody, and then we find ourselves suffering because we're doing the most for everything, for everybody, for ourselves. Maybe even not enough for ourselves, but for everyone else. So we're doing all the things for everyone, and then we're not doing enough for ourselves. So we end up struggling because we're not taking the time to really enjoy what we have to offer the world. We're not enjoying our own lives for ourselves. So sometimes the feminine can just be, and being is part of attraction. Just being who you are, being in your own energy, accepting who you are as you. Sometimes you don't have to do anything to receive the joys of life. You can just relax into life and decide that, you know what, I'm not going to struggle. I'm going to choose a different path. I'm going to choose the path of least resistance. Because when we do that, we begin to get into the flow. And that's what we want to talk about. The feminine is about fluid, about flowing, about being. It's not always about doing. Of course, as a feminine energetic, there are things that we have to do, of course. But there are things that we are doing that we don't have to do. So if we can cut out things that we don't have to do and just be and accept and allow. The idea of the feminine to allow things to happen, allow through our energy, through our positive energy, to allow things into our lives. We don't have to struggle. We may have been in relationships or in situations where we felt like we had to struggle, and in order for us to get the goal, we had to struggle, we had to suffer. And there isn't any reason for us to struggle. We can decide that, you know what, struggle is no longer a part of my story. I am deciding that I'm just going to be and accept and allow the pleasures of life to come to me, because that's what the feminine is about, enjoying life and about accepting things to come to us, and not having to feel like we have to do in order to get something small. But we can do something and get large returns by just being who we are, being in our skins, being ourselves. So struggle is an option. There isn't, the person who suffers the most just suffers the most, because someone else could receive the same reward and not have had to suffer as much and not had to make those twists and turns. It doesn't mean that you'll never struggle, or that you'll never suffer, that you'll never have any feel any pain or any resistance to things that you want. Because of course you may feel resistance, you may feel struggle, you may feel even some pain. But the idea that we choose where we're going to go. We choose to struggle. We choose what do you want to struggle with? Where do you want the struggle to be at? Do you want it to be here, or do you want to be struggle to have peace, or you want to struggle for something else? So when we're deciding how we want to create our lives and manifest what we want, what do you want to manifest through? Do you want to manifest it through struggle and hardship, or do you want to manifest it through allowing and fluidity and flow and peace? So it's really up to us to decide. We have to decide. It's not about anyone else deciding how we choose to make our decisions for life. It's really about ourselves. So when we're choosing to struggle, do you want to struggle for a long time? Do you want to struggle with hardship? What do you want to do? So because like I said, we're always attracting. So the more that you are choosing to struggle, the more struggle that you're going to be creating for yourself. The more you decide that you want to be more in flow, more at peace, and allow things to come to you based on your energy and actions and based on your focus of your mind, you begin to attract the things that you want through allowing them to come to you versus having to fight and pull and kind of wrestle with life trying to get what you want, when in actuality the feminine, if she is in her feminine energy and she is going through the process of being her feminine self, things come. You are focused on the things that you want. You are taking care of yourself. You are resting enough. You are peaceful. You are accepting all the things that you want to do. Then you'll find yourself beginning to see that struggle is less apparent. The hardships are going to fall away because you are allowing, you're not forcing things to happen. You're just saying, I want this, and you're choosing a more fluid path for things to come to you. Things are coming downstream versus trying to go upstream to battle the waves or the flow of the river, let's say, to get what you want. You're letting the river, you're just going with the flow of things. And you're going with the flow of things, things begin to happen. You begin to find your peace. You begin to find the money that you want, the life that you want, the joys that you want in life, because you're letting things come to you. You're deciding what you're wanting, and you're deciding that it's going to come to you through a peaceful, fluid path versus I have to fight, I have to struggle, I have to work extra hard. It's going to just begin to start coming to you because of your focus and your energy, and you're going to be taking your actions based on your inspiration versus taking actions that are mostly ego-based. Of course, ego is important, and some of our actions are just ego-based, and we're just ego-based. Sometimes it's going to be a struggle, but if we let our higher self guide us, let our feminine energetic guide us, then all of a sudden life becomes simpler. Our manifestations become simpler because we're not having to fight and struggle with them. And because manifestation is always happening, there's never a time where we're not manifesting what we want. So if you're struggling, you're going to create for yourself more struggle. If you're complaining, you're going to create for yourself more things to complain about. And who wants to do that? We always want to be in a situation when we are focused on all the things that we want and all the positive things, the positive energy that it brings us. And when we do that, then there's less struggle. There's less hardships that we have to pay attention to because we're not attracting those things, because our struggle it lessens. It becomes a big struggle, becomes a smaller struggle and smaller struggle, because we're not focused on the struggle and the fight and the hardships. And I really got to buckle down and do these things. But we can sit back and we can kind of relax into the manifestation that we're creating in our minds, because of our focus is elsewhere. Our focus is not on the struggle or the fight. Our focus is on our manifestations. Our focus is on our energy and where we're placing the energy. Our focus is on maybe our meditation. Maybe our focus is on, our journaling and scripting versus trying to figure out every little tiny thing when we're waiting to be led by our higher self. Struggle is non-existent. It's not existing because we are letting our higher self guide us. So on today's episode, I just want to touch base on that a little bit, because struggle is not necessary and there's no rewards for the person who struggles the most. So you can always decide that you want to struggle less and you want to live a more peaceful, joyful, more intentional life where it brings you more of the good things that you desire. So less struggle, more intentional focus, more joy, more happiness, more the things that we really want, more money, better partnerships, all those things you don't have to fight for. They just come to you because you're in the energy that you desire. That's it for today. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in today. Please like and comment and share. And if you like our content, please subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Links below.